In today's video, I want to talk about my electric power plan here in California with SDG&E and how I use the power plan and the different time of use costs to take care of all of my power usage for my home, to charge my cars, and also for cryptocurrency mining. And at the end of the month, still have a zero or negative power bill. Let's get into it. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to go over my electricity plan with my power company. The power company that I have is SDG&E here in Southern California, and which is going to be some of the most expensive power around. As you can see right here, we have the EVTOU5 pricing plan. Now, what that means is there are different pricing plans based off of what your electric needs are. And because we have two Teslas that we charge not nightly, but every other night, every 3 or 4 nights, we need to charge our car. And so they have different pricing plans that are cheaper when midnight comes around versus throughout the entire day. So as you can tell, there are 3 different tiers. From midnight until 6 a.m., that's going to be the cheapest time to use power, which is when we charge our cars. There's a lot of usage that happens at that time. And then around 6 a.m., I've got stored power in the Tesla batteries that I have kick on, and then the entire house runs on that battery storage from that point on until the solar kicks in, which is going to be somewhere around 8:30 a.m. At that point, there should be enough solar being produced that it's covering the needs of the home, and then it'll charge the batteries up a little bit because the batteries are pretty smart. You have it so that the batteries will not pull from the grid between 6 a.m. and midnight, because that's when you go from 10 cents to 39.1 or 63.9 cents per kilowatt, which is insane. So anyway, what I do is once the batteries have kicked on, they pretty much stay on until midnight. Now, when the solar is producing in excess between the usage that I have on my home versus charging the battery, it will take that extra solar and sell it back to the power company at the rate during that time. So if I'm only buying electricity when it's 10.2 cents and I'm selling electricity when it's 39.1 or it's 63.9, what I'm able to do is to make back up all that extra electricity that I was using during the middle of the night whenever I'm charging my cars. So that's how I'm really able to manipulate the power. And so with my pricing plan, this really, because of the different amounts that SDG&E charges, it also gives me that credit back at that same amount. That really helps me achieve the negative or zero power bill each month. Okay, what I created here is a very rough Excel spreadsheet to show the breakdown of my power usage. So the home uses between 1,500 to 2,000 watts, depending on what's going on in the house. At midnight, that's when the cars will charge if I need to charge. Again, I don't charge them every night, maybe once every 2 or 3 nights. And then, of course, the crypto farm that I have. And I wanted to break that down into the way that I show here, so you can see the power consumption that the crypto farm alone has apart from the house. Now, the 3060 Ti is, through all of my trial and error, is what I have found to be the most efficient Sometimes I get 120 watts. Sometimes I get 130 watts. It's based off of what I'm mining at the time. Obviously, I'm only mining Ethereum right now, but that's going to be changing up coming here shortly within a couple of weeks. But this is just a very rough breakdown of the power usage in my home, so you understand the way that I'm consuming power. Okay, so currently I'm mining to Ethermine, and based off of my small farm that I have, you can see that I'm pulling in around 1.3 gigahash. And at the current time, which this is 8/29/2022 at 9:45 a.m. California time, it's currently making about $27.48 a day. Now, I'm able to look at that and take that into 100% profit, if you will, because I don't have to worry about power. And that's really where my setup really comes into play, where power is not eating up all the profits. So anyway, I just wanted to break this down to you a little bit more so that you can see the farm, how many workers that I have, and really what I have going on in my farm. So I got 7, wow. Anyway. Okay, so what I want to do is show you the Tesla app and how it's really working at the current time and how it's really treating the solar and the power. So as you can tell, I'm producing 14.3 kilowatt right now. It's 9:41 a.m. and the house is using 6.6, and that's the normal home usage that I have, as well as the crypto miners running. So it's taking care of that entire amount. Also, you can see that it's overproducing, and it's selling, as you can see where it's going back to the grid at 7.5, it's selling that back to the grid at the higher price. Instead of the 10 cents selling it back, it's now selling it back at 39, let's just call it 40 cents per kilowatt. And you also see the Powerwalls are at 79%. Underneath the 79%, you see the little 6X. That just means that I have 6 Tesla Powerwalls. Now, the Powerwall is really smart. It knows that I do not want to buy power unless it's 10 cents. However, if the Powerwalls, because they are connected to the internet, they are connected to weather, it knows whether or not there's going to be enough sun to run the home and power the home all the way up until midnight. If the Powerwall feels that there's not going to be enough solar, what it will do is it will actually, instead of selling that solar to the grid, it will actually throw it into the Powerwall and charge it up enough so that there will be enough to get me until midnight. The absolute one time I do not want to be buying power is between 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. because that's when the kilowatt price jumps to 64 cents, I believe. It jumps from like 40 cents to 65 cents or 63 cents. I can't remember the exact amount, instead of the 10 cents. So no matter what, between 4 and 9, I never want to buy power. I would much rather buy at the lower tiers. So again, the Powerwall, they are so smart in that it knows that I have enough power based on the usage that I've done to sell the extra power that I have to the grid. And then if it needs to charge more or store more power, it will do that automatically. And this is just really the brains of the whole thing. I don't touch this. It just works. It just is what it is. And it's been a really good investment that I made in the house. Another really cool feature about the Tesla Powerwall app is that you can keep track of the usage, the net usage from solar, the Powerwall, and pulling electricity from the grid. So if you just go to this energy section, and what this is going to do is it's going to give you right now in real time the way that I'm using power, the way that I'm consuming power. And so last night I did charge a car, and you can see I have currently pulled 142.3 kilowatts from the grid. I have sold 1.7 kilowatts so far, and it's 9:41 a.m. You can see it there at the top. And then, of course, you see the net usage. But what I want to do is go back a couple of days so you can see a couple of days, the usage, the consumption, and the way that I'm consuming power. Now, when it's on the weekend, and this was on a Sunday right here because I'm recording this on Monday, power's really consumed differently because it's 10 cents from midnight until 2 p.m. on Saturdays and Sundays. So I'm perfectly okay pulling from the grid at 10 cents. So I will pull more from the grid on those weekends, on Saturday and Sunday. But let's go back to a couple of days before. Let's go back to Friday. And now you can really see the way solar and the Tesla Powerwalls is really taking advantage of the time of use power consumption. From the grid, you can see I pulled 124.3. So obviously, if this is at 10 cents, that's about what, $12 that costs for that. And then to the grid, and you can see the time when it goes below the zero. You can see when I'm starting to sell to the grid. So I'm selling at 40 cents and 65 cents. And then my net usage, I really don't pay attention to this because it doesn't really matter, because when I'm consuming at 10 cents, but then I'm selling at 40 and 65 cents, that doesn't really help me out. But this is how I am really able to take advantage of the power consumption, the power usage. It's not just solar. It's the solar and the Powerwalls together, in which I'm really creating a really nice investment in my home, as well as being able to mine cryptocurrency and not really take into account the cost of power. So again, I just wanted to break this down so you can see. Here was Thursday, Wednesday. Some days there's more sun than other days. But anyway, I hope this really helps you to understand the way that I'm consuming power and using power and manipulating power to get the best benefit that I can from my setup. If you have any questions, ask below, and I'll definitely try to be a little more clear about the way this is all working. Okay, now what I wanted to do here was to show you my most recent power bill and the way it's going to look going forward with cryptocurrency mining, my normal power usage, charging the cars. I've highlighted the most recent power bill, which came out just a couple of days ago, 8/24/2022. And if you'll notice, you can see the breakdown between peak, off-peak, and super off-peak. But if you go below that, you can see all my charges and credits, and you'll see the electric meter charges and payments, the 168.17 in parentheses. The parentheses means negative. So my power bill for last month is negative 168.17. And that's me really learning how to use these Powerwalls in the way that I've explained in this video, so that I can really take advantage of power when it's cheaper versus more expensive. Also, I had a larger farm, a larger crypto farm, and I was using more power. And therefore, I wasn't really using power the way I am now. So I could probably build my farm back up based off of all the information that I've learned from what I've been doing. So what's going to happen is, you can see no payments required this month. Whenever you go on one of these pricing plans that I'm on with SDG&E, you really only have to pay your power bill once a year. And that's because of solar, and sometimes you overproduce or underproduce, and at the end of the year, you pay whatever that balance is. Or if you have a negative, you can choose to just bank that, or have them cut you a check. Now, if they cut you a check, they're only going to be cutting you a check at wholesale price, not the prices that you've been seeing here. So I just bank it and we'll just use it going forward. So what I've learned through my power usage and manipulation is that I'm going to make up for that other 636.44 over the next few months, and we'll eventually have a negative balance and start building my farm back up so that I'm right there just at that zero cost per month and taking advantage of all of the power that my Powerwalls and solar is able to produce and manipulate. But again, I just wanted to show you what my power bill is going to look like going forward based out of all the information that I've learned between solar and my Tesla Powerwalls. So hopefully with this video, I was able to explain my setup a little bit better, how I'm buying power, selling power, and consuming power using both solar and the Tesla Powerwalls, and how I'm really taking advantage of like the power arbitrage that I'm doing in the different costs of power, and then selling power at the much higher cost to make up for all of the usage that I'm doing. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask below. If you have certain videos that you would like me to do, please let me know below, and thank you for watching.